Namaste everyone, welcome back to Zesty Nimbu. This is Sri Rekha. Today is Mahaashtami, Durga Ashtami. On this day, the Alankaram for Brahmarambika Devi in Sri Sailam is Mahagauri, and the Avtaram for Durga Devi in Vijayawada is Durga. So today is Mahaashtami, and on this day, before we go ahead and discuss about the goddesses, let's see the shloka performance by Shilpa, and I'll tell you the meaning and then we'll see the story of the goddesses.
सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यम्बके गौरी नारायणी नमोऽस्तुते सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यम्बके गौरी नारायणी नमोऽस्तुते नारायणी नमोऽस्तुते नारायणी नमोऽस्तुते नारायणी नमोऽस्तुते.
The shloka goes like this. Om Sarvamangala Mangalye Shive Sarvartha Sadhike Sharanye Trayambake Gauri Narayani Namostute. So the meaning of this shloka is: we bow to you, O Devi Narayani. You are the auspiciousness for everyone. You bring happiness. You are the one who completes every work for everyone. You are the protector. You are the one with three eyes and a beautiful face. We salute you, O Narayani. So this is the meaning of this shloka. It's a very powerful shloka. So today the Alankaram for the Devi in Sri Sailam is Mahagauri. Mahagauri, Gauri is fair. Mahagauri is extremely fair. Shiva is a person who is extremely fair. But generally the goddess is depicted with a little shade. As in she is either brown, dark or not as fair as Shiva. But here Mahagauri avatar is where she becomes extremely fair. So there are some stories. So one day Shiva playfully calls her Kali because of her dark hue, and Parvati is offended and she does tapasya again, and after which Shiva washes her with Akasha Ganga and she becomes fair. Another story is that when she was worshipping or doing tapasya for Shiva in Brahmacharini Roop, because of that tapasya, the Tapo Agni, she becomes dark. And once Shiva marries her, he washes her with Akasha Ganga. So then she becomes fair. This is the avatar of Mahagauri. It is said that if you worship her, all your obstacles in life will be cleared, you will be victorious. As we have seen for Devi Kalratri, she will remove all your past karma, bad or good. But if you worship Gauri, apart from removing all your bad karma from the past, even your future karma is taken care of by this goddess. She will make sure that you will not have any problems in the future also if you worship her. So worship her for removing all obstacles and being victorious in your life. That is the greatness of Mahagauri avatar. Now coming to Durga avatar of Vijayawada Kanakadurga temple. Here, this is the first roop that is a roop of warrior. She's a warrior goddess. Until today, we have seen Mahasaraswati, Mahalakshmi, Lalita, all these people were not warrior goddesses. Later on, they changed their appearance, but Durga is the first warrior goddess. And hence, she is in a Bhayanaka Swarup. She is depicted riding on a lion, sometimes also on a tiger. Simhavahini she is called, and she has many weapons. She has 18 arms. She is depicted with 18 arms sometimes, having all kinds of weapons. She is the one who killed Chandamundasura and Shumanishubhas. We have seen the story yesterday for Saraswati. Saraswati transforms herself into Durga to kill Shumanishubha, Chandamundasura, Dhumralochana, all these Rakshasas. So here she is in a warrior pose. She is a fearsome warrior and she is depicted riding on a lion. And if you worship her, you get all your obstacles removed in your life. You will be victorious. That is the greatness of this goddess. There are many stories again in Devi Bhagavata, but today let's see another story where Devi Bhagavati is worshipped. Once in Ayodhya Nagara, in Koshala Desha, there was a king called Dhruvasandhi. Dhruvasandhi was a very righteous king. He used to take care of all his subjects very nicely. He had two wives, Manorama and Leelavati. After some time, both these wives gave birth to sons. Manorama's son was Sudarshana and Leelavati's son was Satyajit. So the kids were growing up. Sudarshana was a very calm sort of a child, and Satyajit on the other hand was very talkative. He used to meet everybody and make friends easily, and so the king was favorably disposed towards Satyajit. But he never discriminated for both his sons. Sudarshan was the elder one and Satyajit was the youngest son. Manorama was the first wife. So after some time, this king, Dhruva Sandhi, was, very fond of hunting. So one day he goes to the forest and hunts. And during that hunting expedition, he is killed by a lion and he kills the lion. So both of them are dead. But then ultimately the king is dead and there is nobody to take care of the kingdom. But all the rishis and munis and all the ministers in the kingdom advise that the elder son, who is Sudarshana, should be crowned as the king. Though both the kids are minors, it is advised that Sudarshana be made the king. But then the fathers of both the queens, Manorama and Leelavati, descend. Manorama's father was Veerasena and Leelavati's father was Yudhajit. Yudhajit was the king of Ujjain and Veerasena was the king of Kalinga. So both these grandfathers of the princes descend and they fight amongst themselves and say that Satyajit should be made the king, but Veerasena says his grandson Sudarshana should be made the king. Ultimately both of them fight and Veerasena, the father of Manorama, is killed in the fight. Yudhajit wins the fight and he looks for Sudarshana to kill him as well so that Satyajit can be made the rightful heir to the throne of Kosala. So Manorama is very anxious. She is afraid that the old king, the grandfather of Satyajit, will come and kill her son. The queen, Manorama, with the help of maids and a minister called Vidala, leave the palace. She informs Leelavati saying that I have to go perform the last rites of my father, and she leaves with her son along with the minister and few maids. So as they are going to go out of the kingdom, they are attacked by some thieves and all their wealth is taken away. But eventually they reach Bharadwaja's ashram and Bharadwaja allows them to stay in his hermitage. So Yudhajit still keeps searching for Sudarshana and his mother Manorama. He doesn't find them anywhere. But eventually they get to know that Bharadwaja is letting them stay in his ashram. So Yudhajit comes along with his army and asks Bharadwaja Muni to give those to him. Bharadwaja Muni says, I am not going to give, you must leave. So he leaves. Sudarshana starts growing up in the ashram. So the other Muni kids tease Vidala, who is the minister, as Kleb. Kleb is a Napunsak, a transgender. But Sudarshana only hears Kli. So he keeps saying Kli, Kli, Kli. Later on he adds to that, which becomes Kleem. Kleem is actually a Bijakshara. So he keeps uttering this Bijakshara in his mind, thousands and crores of times in his mind. So slowly, from being a very slow child, from being a very soft child, he starts becoming an intelligent one. He starts developing all the attributes. And once his Upanayam is done by Bharadwaja Muni, he becomes active. He takes part in all the activities conducted and he trains well. He becomes a good warrior. Then one day, Devi Bhagavati, Devi Ambika, in the form of Vaishnavi, who is riding on Garuda, comes in his dream and blesses him. And then one day, when he is outside in the forest, she gives him a quiver full of arrows and a bow. She blesses him. One day, the princess of Kashi, her name is Shashikala, sees this Sudarshana and she falls in love. Devi Bhagavati also comes in her dream and says that he will be your husband. She falls in love and the king of Kashi, whose name is Subahu, comes to know that his daughter is of marriageable age and he arranges for a Swayamvara. Many kings are invited. Even Yudhajit and Satyajit are also invited for that Swayamvara. But the princess says, I am not going to marry anyone. I have already married Sudarshana in my mind, and hence if I go out, that is not correct. If I go out into the Swayamvara, it is not correct. All the other kings and princes will see me, which is not right for a married woman, and hence I am not going to go into the Swayamvara. So please marry me off to Sudarshana. The king of Kashi sends a chariot to Sudarshana to bring him along with his mother, and they come there and secretly he marries off his daughter Shashikala with Sudarshana. Even though the Swayamvar is still going on, he marries off them secretly, but all the other kings come to know that the marriage had happened and they want to attack Sudarshana. Sudarshana says, I and Shashikala will leave this country and go away into the forest. Then we'll see what will happen. When all the other kings and princes assemble there not to let Sudarshana go out of the country of Kashi, then Bhagwati, Ma Bhagwati comes down in support of Sudarshana and attacks everybody and kills everybody along with Yudhajit and Shatrujit. So this way Sudarshana becomes the king of Koshala again. Ambika wants to give them boons, so she gives a boon to King of Kashi, who is Subahu, and he asks that there be a temple dedicated to Durga, to her in Kashi. And till today, that Durga temple in Kashi is still there, and it will be there till the end of Kali Yuga, till the end of the time, till the earth is standing. It is mentioned in that Purana. Similarly, she gives a boon to Sudarshana that there will be a temple in Ayodhya dedicated to goddess Ambika, to goddess Durga, and till today it's still there and it will be there till the end of the time. So that is the boon which she gives to both Sudarshana and Subahu, and Sudarshana is crowned the king of Ayodhya. There he goes and meets Leelavati, who is his stepmother, who is the wife of Dhruva Sandhi and who is the mother of Satrajit, and he says that we are not enemies, I'll take care of you, and he takes care of her and his mother Manorama and his wife Shashikala for a very long period of time. So by this story we understand that the Uchcharana, the uttering of the Bijakshara clean, helped Sudarshana become a great warrior and a great king. You have to keep uttering the name of the goddess and you will be blessed. That is the moral that we get from this story. For today, this story is based on Durga Devi. It is mentioned in the 3rd skanda of Devi Bhagavata. So you can go ahead and read this beautiful story. Tomorrow is Mahanavami, where we'll be worshipping Siddhidatri and Mahishasura Mardini. So I hope you have liked today's video. Do like, share, comment and subscribe to my channel. Do follow me on all the social media handles. I'll see you tomorrow with another video. We'll talk about goddess Siddhidatri and goddess Mahishasura Mardini. So until then, Namaste, Sri Matre Namaha.